Well, everybody, I am back, and guess what? I have put myself in the other seat because I am being interviewed for my 14th year anniversary by the one and only Mr. Justin Perry. We all know Justin has the number one self-help YouTube channel, and we all know who he is. And I was driving down the street going to my dog's vet's office to get some treats for girlfriend. And the spirit just said to me, because my mentor, Pastor James Powers, is recuperating, and the spirit said to me, Justin Perry. I'm like, I haven't talked to Justin in years. And so here we are, and I'm going to give the show and the floor over to Justin. Hey, Justin, how you doing?
Thanks for having me, Miss Constance. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm whatever, the show and the floor is yours.
So, 14 years.
Mhm.
14 years.
Yeah.
How did you get started with the Think Believe talk show?
Wow. Justin, I got started in a really low place. It was 2009. I was getting ready to get married. I was madly in love, getting ready to build $1 million home. Thought that I had met the man of my dreams. And he called me, picked up the phone, and said, I can't do this. And I'm like, "What?" But it was a little more. This is a a great rated show, so I ain't gonna say what I really said. But I was so hurt, so devastated, didn't know if I even wanted to live. And
Wow.
then after that, of course, I had to sell my home, pack up, and move into a new place. And I fell and broke my ankle as I was walking into an office building and went to the doctor. He said, Miss Arnold, you can't put no weight on this foot for 6 months. You got to be in a wheelchair. You can't drive. You can't do anything. So here I am in my new place, lying on my bed on the top level, looking out of the window. I can still see it now. And I'm saying to myself, God, or whatever you guys want to say, source, infinite intelligence. I said, what is going on? And just a small voice. I say the spirit is always talking, Justin. And it said in a small whisper, Law of Attraction Radio Network. And I sat up and I Googled it and I reached out to Jules, and the rest is history.
Wow. 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 So, 14 years, millions of listeners, millions of lives changed.
Yeah.
Did you ever expect this?
Never expected it, didn't even know that it existed because at the time I was probably living when I first started just a moment, minute by minute, because I was so depressed, so confused. So, what do I do with my life now? I had been extremely successful in my training and consulting. I didn't know at the time. I told people I started a podcast or doing shows before, you know, before it was even popular. But what my intention was every week, I'm going to give and share a first class show with experts that can help people shift their lives. I didn't know about demographics. I didn't know about all the numbers. And the first time that it was presented to me, Constance, did you know that you have X number of listeners? I was oblivious to that, but I was just doing my very best, giving the just first class service every week for 1 hour.
1 hour.
Mhm.
Wow. How many guests have you, interviewed?
Probably about, I have over 725 shows. So probably I teach some of the, probably about 400. and I have met and I'm friends with some of the most amazing, interesting ballers, life changers, out of the box thinkers that exist on the planet.
I
That's the
believe it.
fun thing. You know, when you meet people, you brainstorm, it expands your consciousness. I may interview somebody from Africa, Asia, and they bring with them their culture and what they believe, and then Europe. I've interviewed people all over the world, people in a car, in a taxi, and it has greatly impacted me. And Justin, I always say, really, I believe God gave this to change me because I am radically different now in 2023 than I was in 2009.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So over 400 interviews.
Mhm.
What was some of the best life-changing information you've
Okay.
heard?
Oh boy. I'm thinking of Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, who is so
Okay.
passionate and so powerful. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. He co-authored um, that with Napoleon Hill. And when he talked about just the mindset of Black millionaires and some of the how they possess some of the same characteristics. To me, that was a blueprint for success.
Mm,
I think of maybe Jack Canfield, who says that when he wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, he went to like 100 publishers and they all said no. But this is what I remember the most. He said he didn't know what he was going to call the book. So he and his co-author, they had been brainstorming, and he said one night he was sleeping and he looked over on the wall, and on the wall was written "Chicken Soup for the Soul." And he said at that time the spirit spoke to him and said, just like when you get sick and your mom brings you some chicken soup, that's
right.
what you're doing to people with these stories. So
Wow.
that's an example of how no matter what you're doing, how spirit will always speak to you.
Wow, wow,
So
wow,
those
wow.
are just two, but it's just so many women. Oh, I'm thinking of one lady in Chicago. Can't think of her name right now, but it'll come. Wendy. Wendy was on welfare. She didn't know how to get herself out of it, but she said she had a connection with God or spirit. So just the one night she said she didn't have any food and she was just like praying, God, give me an idea. God, give me an idea. And God reminded her of her grandmother's uh, maple syrup recipe. And so she went in the kitchen and was just sort of rumbling through her kitchen drawers, and she found the recipe and she began making that recipe in her kitchen and selling it to people in the neighborhood. Long story short, she was the first African American woman to get her grandmother's recipe for maple syrup on the shelves in Walmart and other large companies. Now
Wow.
she's a multi millionaire from that one idea, and it all started with God speaking to her through her dreams.
Wow.
And I've met her in person. The great thing about doing the show, Justin, is I've been on the platform with some of these people. I met her in person. She came to Atlanta. But just imagine on welfare, not knowing how, the spirit just brought back to her remembrance her grandmother's recipe.
Wow, wow, wow.
So it's people like that who who I've met, and I say, you can't go nowhere without coming through Atlanta. That's my joke. And so if you come through Atlanta, let's meet for coffee. I've met so many of my guests in person. had the opportunity to dine with them, to be with them, um, to be on platforms with them. Just in the law of attraction, in the past did a lot of cruises and a lot of special events. And just to be on the platform with some people that you interview, i it's life changing.
Wow. I'm sure
Hmm.
it is life changing.
Hmm.
I'm sure it is. Okay, so tell me this though. On a personal level, how has this show impacted you?
Well, I don't have children,
Okay.
and I remember years before somebody said to me, it was a prophecy. I was somewhere and they said, "You will mentor people all over the world. You will be a mother to the nations." And I'm like, what in the world is this person talking about? I have no idea. And so, so what has happened to me is I am mentoring and coaching young girls
Wow.
and women all over the world. I just finished some months back teaching 400 female pastors in Africa
Wow.
of 4 different master classes, about business, those kinds of things. So personally, it has given me an extended family. I have girls. I say I have daughters in every color, Asian, black, white, Latino, you name it. So that has really added to me personally. My friendships, I have great friends here in Atlanta, but half of my friends are my former guests. Pete Adams is one of them. You and I know Pete. Y
Yeah.
you know, these people I have connected with, it has enriched my life, and I would even say, it's enriched me financially, let's just get real about that. It has
Mhm.
also enrich me by meeting all of these people. When they see me in person, they start screaming, "Oh my God, I listen to you every week." So it has enriched me personally and shown me how big the world is, how big God is, how big the universe is with just unlimited opportunities and people and cultures. I would say it has expanded my thinking. I've always been an out of the box thinker, but not just and I don't even have no box. Ducks don't have to be in a. It has made me think big.
Right.
It has made me believe big. I can do that. I am. This is who I am. So I'm rich. I'm rich personally. I'm rich in my consciousness. I'm even rich physically. I've interviewed so many people with physical health. I've had people send me kits on, drink this, take this. So all of these people are pouring back into my life. What a rich
Wow.
woman I am.
You know, you said that somebody prophesied to you, right?
Mhm.
The same thing happened to me
Mm,
twice. Twice with two different strangers. I don't know who they were. And they told me that I'll be doing exactly what I'm doing now.
mm.
What is that, Miss Constance? Like, who is who is
Well,
guiding these people?
I believe that spirit is guiding these people because I think sometimes we have to be reminded of who we are. I'm going back old school to a story. When I got my divorce, it was so traumatic. I was married to a pastor, those of you who know me. So I went to church and I'm like, well, God, if I can't be married to a pastor, something ain't right. So a friend of mine said, come on and go to church with me. And so here I am, a therapist, but I'm going to we had gone through a divorce. traumatic divorce. Looking back at it now, I would deal with it differently now with this new consciousness, Justin. And so I went to church and I was just thinking once again, what's life all about? Never been to this church, never seen this pastor. And so he got up with his Bible and he just stopped and he said, "That woman all the way in the back." I was way in the back, maybe 2,000 people in there. And I'm like, and then somebody said, "He's talking to you." I'm like, "Me?" He said, "Yes, you." And then he said, "Mm, God knew you were becoming disillusioned."
Mm.
He said, "I don't know you. I've never seen you, but I stopped this service because God says you're going to be going north, west, east, and south." He said, "You're not going to be in the pulpit, but you're going to be teaching people success principles." I just
Wow.
looked at him. I'm like, what?
That's wild, Miss Constance.
I'm like, what is this man talking about? Because at the time, podcast was not even out. So in my mind, I was thinking I'm gonna be traveling on an airplane going north, west, east, and south. So one day I was sitting in front of my computer and somebody sent me the demographics, and I'm like, north, west, east, and south. And so, for anybody who's watching or listening, no matter where you are, it's somebody that the spirit or source will send that will remind you, that will prod you, that
Yeah.
will tell you what's been a seed on the inside of you, like that person did to you, Justin.
Wow. I love it. I love how the universe works. It's so mysterious, but it's so perfect at the same time.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
absolutely love it. Okay, so here's another question for you. 14 years. What are some things that your listeners might be surprised
Uh,
about you?
I know this gonna surprise y'all. That my nature is quiet and shy. That that when I'm not doing this or speaking on a platform, I'm very shy, Justin.
Mm,
I don't talk a lot. I know y'all don't believe that. I don't talk a lot. I flow more in my feminine energy and I'm quiet. They would
wow.
probably be very, very surprised at that. They would also probably be very surprised that even in relationships, one of my girlfriends, she was a counselor. I'm going to introduce you to this guy. I'm like, okay. And so we were at a meeting. She said, so after the meeting, come back here and, so I can introduce you. I said, okay. So I ran to the bathroom. And she came and she said, "What are you doing in here?" I said, "I'm just a little nervous." She said, "How can you speak to thousands of people and be nervous about meeting one man?" And so y'all probably would really understand that my nature or who I am is shy. I like the simple things in life, a beautiful sunset, the water, even though on the outside, I may be a little extravagant, but I like beautiful, the ocean, seagulls, beautiful sunsets, walking in nature. Y'all know I like eating healthy, but I like walking in nature, drinking maybe a green drink and feeling uh, just the life of that drink going down on the inside of me.
I love it.
So I I'm an extrovert, but really I'm very contemplative, very simple, and very kind of quiet. Does that surprise you, Justin?
You know what? It does surprise me actually. Okay, so you and I, we both teach these universal principles.
Mhm.
And my favorite universal law is the law of attraction. I've been able to do some wonderful, magnificent things in my life. And I never get tired of talking about this law. What have you learned in the 14 years of interviewing all these people regarding the universal laws?
Oh, Lord. I would say that it's an inside job,
Mm, okay.
that it is whatever I think, believe, feel, imagine, and I'm vibrating in that on the inside, the entire universe will begin to bend, shape, and mold to me what I am vibrating out. And that it's all according to where I live, dwell, and abide in my consciousness. I'm not going out to make the law of attraction work. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take action, but it's like becoming pregnant. It's like embodying. It's like becoming one with the thing that you desire first. Holding that picture, feeling that it is already mine now, and
Mm,
then almost organically you take action. I'm going to say it's not that you're not working, but the work is almost effortless. So when I first started, it was like you got to visualize. It was all of these things that I had to do. I felt like it was doing. Now for me, it's being. And from that place of being, embodying, knowing, pregnant with this is where I live, this is where I abide, this is who I am in this moment, I manifest. And
wow.
any action that I need to take, I'll just like with you. I I was thinking, who in the world can I get to interview me? And y'all got to know, me and Justin haven't talked in years. We may have texted each other. We all know of his awesome work, he and his wife, the Queen Erica, but we hadn't talked or connected maybe once. And
You're
I'm
right.
driving and I hear this Justin Perry. I'm like, Justin Perry? Because, but I have been abiding and thinking, who is the right person to interview me for my 14th year anniversary since my mentor is recuperating? I could have chosen my other mentor in Africa, but that's not what the spirit said. I could have chosen, whatever. I'm like, Justin Perry. I pulled over to the side of the road and I text him because I'm blessed to have his number. And I said to him, would you be open? And he said, I would be, you know, just really glad to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes,
so,
ma'am. And it is my honor to do this as well.
so Justin, so tell me, I'm not interviewing you, but I'm just curious. What would you say has been the greatest law of attraction lesson that you learned? I learned so much from you. Hey, y'all, if you haven't been to his channel, I don't know where you been. You better go and check it out. You are creators, right? We are creators.
You are creators. Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am. What I've learned is timing.
Mm.
Timing. So basically, we don't force things to happen. We allow them to happen, right? But it's all about timing. The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. But we must remember that we are co creating our reality with Source or God. We're co-creating a reality. So therefore, like you put out what you want, you visualize it, you take action, and then the right time, you receive it. But timing is everything. It's everything, you know, and never, never force a manifestation.
Ooh.
Just wait patiently. Never force it. Don't do it.
So hey, look, and we're gonna get back to me. So what has happened when you've ever forced, I know what's happened in my life, when you forced a manifestation. What happened, Justin? Give us an example of that.
Without saying too much.
Okay, I got you. I feel you. We don't want everybody to know your business.
Without saying too much. But you can okay, you can throw things out of whack.
Mhm.
You can take things out of rotation
Mm.
by trying to force the hand of the universe. Um, uh, what example can I use?
Well, I get you. Let me just say this. I'm going back to the man that I was going to marry.
Okay,
I saw some things, and but I overrode them because I wanted the manifestation of that. And the timing of that relationship just wasn't right. Now,
got you.
maybe if it had happened at another time, it would have been a more coherent, a more coming together. But I saw it, but I forced it. I
Mm,
overrode it. I said, "Oh no, I gotta have this." I mean, will I ever find anything else like this? That was my subconscious thinking, which I didn't know at the time. And so that's a great example of for listeners of someone who tries to force something, Justin, before it's time. I just think trusting
trusting, yes.
the universe that okay. Cause
You
man,
know,
when you get something you ain't ready for, it's a lot. I've had houses I wasn't ready for, relationships, cars, and I did it myself. But to me, um, things of the spirit are, I'm not going to say easy, but it is the timing of a thing that's major.
man, it's so important, Miss Constance, because I found out that you know, certain things that worked well before will
Mhm.
fall apart if you try to force it into existence. Yeah, and that's all I'm gonna say on the thing.
Yeah. A verse just came to my mind. It says, "The blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow." And anytime I've tried to push a manifestation, it was sorrowful.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am. You know, patience really is a virtue.
Mhm.
And that's what I teach anyway. Just yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
So, Justin, you asking me all of these questions. I'm just trying to be real with my listeners so y'all can just see the real deal, which I always am behind the scenes of everything that's happened. Because y'all just see the glamour and the this and me dancing for my 14th anniversary and me doing this and me interviewing and people coming into the city. All of that is glorious, but as I was telling Justin, the day-to-day routine of success behind the scenes is very mundane. You get up and you do this, you prepare for your show, you read, it's not it's not all just hype and
right.
just jumping around. It's just being consistent in your daily practices and routine that really emanates and manifests success in your life.
Okay, so what keeps you going? 14 years. What keeps you motivated?
Oh Lord. I would say on some of those Sundays, that's when my show is released. I'm like, man, I can't do this today. God, I need help myself. I need somebody to motivate me. I need somebody to inspire me. But I believe that what keeps me going, first of all, is it's my calling for this
Okay.
season. I'm called to teach, share, and like that man prophesied over me, universal success principles to people. I'm not moved by numbers. I'm not moved by how many emails I get saying, "Oh, Constance, you did a wonderful show." I'm called, and so if I am called, that means that the Spirit has equipped me because I prepare very deeply. If I'm interviewing you, Justin, I'm gonna read everything about you. I'm gonna listen to 20 or 30 of your videos. I used to read every person I interviewed. I used to read a book a week.
Wow.
I don't. So so it's a calling, and I would say it is the power of the Spirit that every week keeps me moving forward. I always have my mind on my listener. What do people need? Because people need something different, Justin, after the pandemic than they needed before. What do
Right.
listeners need? What questions do they ask? And I would say I'm a consistent person. Every day I'm going to drink a gallon of water if I can. Every day I'm going to move my body, no matter what it feels like.
Right.
Some weeks I ain't really feeling it. I got a really good support system around me. I have lots of love. I have people that pour into me. I have people that give back to me. I know how to live a very balanced life. It's not work, work, work for me. I'm very good at playing, vacationing, replenishing my own self, knowing my boundaries,
Right.
and laughter and fun. And then, of course, the spirit, my one on one intimate time with God, I know, empowers me, inspires me, and motivates me.
Wow.
I would say that. So the question is, have I ever been depressed and didn't want to do a show? Absolutely. Have I ever said, I can't do this anymore? Absolutely. Have I ever said, well, why am I keep doing all of this and I don't hear from my listeners? Absolutely. But then just in my quiet meditative time, the spirit brings me back like, come on, girlfriend. Or I may receive an email from somebody who says, I have a great guest for you. And I'll look at it and say, wow, that would be a great guest. And that gets me going.
Wow. 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 Okay.
Hmm.
So, what are some things that you are currently manifesting right now?
Oh, boy. I would say I'm currently manifesting new ways and new platforms of how I want to reach people. I,
Okay.
I believe that people want short, one on one answers to their life's problems, their questions, etc.
Mm,
So that's one thing that I'm doing. For years, I did come and spend the weekend with Constance here in the ATL. So I am doing more in person because there's something about in person that's more profound to me.
right.
I'm doing more small group interactions in person where I can combine my counseling and therapy background coupled with my law of attraction wisdom to
Nice.
help people to manifest. So I'm going to do that on Zoom and in person. And I'm writing another book. Somebody said, you need to write another book. And I'm like, God would have to come down from on high to tell me that. Well, Spirit has said that. So I'm going to take excerpts from some of my shows
Mm,
to put in the book. Because with I've already shared wisdom, I'm going to take it from video, audio, and just put it in my book.
that's a good idea. That's an
Hmm.
excellent idea, actually.
And I got something else working that I'm gonna make an announcement about, but it's personal and it has to do with LOVE. So I'm not gonna say I'm working on that, but I'm gonna say it is in process right now.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so that's kind of the things that I'm evolving in and really feel that God has really called me to. What about you? You always doing something different.
Oh my goodness. So these days, I feel led to really work on my You Are Creators Kids channel.
Mm,
It's already made already, but every week we're starting to put universal law nursery rhymes for babies.
for
Just to teach
babies.
them early on that thoughts
Mhm.
become things,
Mm.
And we're also working on like our first children's book full of lullabies. So I'm excited about that. You can check it out. You Are Creators Kids.
And that's just so you and I were talking about this prior to recording. It's so needed.
Yes, ma'am.
Kids, they just absorb so much. And you've heard kids, you've seen them sing a whole song. And I'm like, how did they learn the lyrics to that song? Because they've heard it over and over and over again. You're doing God's work, Justin.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Hmm. So you tell me, I'm flipping this switch a little bit. So you
Okay.
tell me what's one new or major thought process or universal law or a universal insight that you have learned?
You know, these days is all about trust and
Mm,
understanding that I am co-creating my reality.
mm-hmm,
Like not just me, like working with this force that has never failed at anything.
mm-hmm,
And it's me trusting when things happen that I don't understand, like, okay, why is this happening? But knowing it's for my good, knowing
mm.
everything works out, because it does. Everything always works out for us, you know? So more trust, more patience, and sitting back and enjoying the show.
So are you enjoying, because with everything that you have accomplished, people ask me, I'm ta I'm talking to myself first of all. At one point, the spirit said to me, "You lost your joy." I'm like, "What?" And so doing the show, next show, next show, next show, next person. And I had really lost my joy. And I intentionally every day, every week, make sure that I'm living in joy and working in joy. So, do you feel like you are enjoying the journey now, Justin?
You know, I love what I do.
Mm,
I love it. I love every aspect of it. I'm grateful to be in this position. I don't like it. I love it. It's a difference. It's a
mm,
difference. So I'm learning different facts of the universal laws that I didn't know before. And it's almost like every time I make a video, it feels like a new revelation almost.
mm-hmm.
So, I'm going with the flow. I'm just going with the flow.
Well, I can tell that because when I see you on TikTok, it's like you in the zone. I'm like Justin in another world, and he just teaching us something. So I'm
I
grateful
mean what
to
I say.
you.
Yeah, I mean what I say.
And I
I
can
mean
tell you're
exactly what I
living
say.
what you say. I
Yes,
can
ma'am.
tell that.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
So yes, 100%.
Well, you got anything else you want to ask me, Justin? I just so appreciative that you took the time to interview me. It's all, and it's so interesting. We don't know why this happened, or we came together, but we're trusting the universe
You
that
know,
that it's all divine.
it's all divine, like you said. But I do have one question for you.
Okay.
Where do you see your show in 5 to 10 years?
Ugh. I see my show in person in a studio. I don't know if you've seen people like Shannon Sharp, where
Hmm.
people come in, they have the mic right there,
Yeah,
and interviewing people like that. I want to do more of that. And I'm going to go on and be as bold as to say, I could see me doing a talk show. You
I
know, I,
believe it.
I
I can see it too. I can see
mhm.
that.
I'm really good at it. I understand human behavior. I know how to interact. Yeah, so I could see me doing a talk show. I've had many people, not many, but yeah, I would say probably hundreds of people say, "You need to have your own talk show." And I was listening to Sherry Shepherd, and she was saying, I've been praying and believing for a talk show for years. But I see myself with seasoned wisdom, with my counseling, 30 years of counseling, my understanding of the universal laws, really having my own show, really teaching people, possibly in a syndicated sort of format.
Perfect. Perfect.
That's
And I
where
look
I
forward
see
to seeing
myself.
it. I look forward to seeing it because it's gonna happen. Yes,
Hmm.
yeah, it's gonna happen.
So I appreciate you taking the time to interview me. It's divine. And guys, Justin, tell them once again all of your contact information, how can they
Yeah.
find your channels and all of that?
YouTube, you are creators, and you are creators' kids. And I will be thrilled to teach. I love you all.
Well, I appreciate you and your beautiful I call her Queen Erica.
She is a
Queen,
queen, and she
she
acts like a
definitely
queen too. Okay. She is a
Queen.
queen.
The first time I interviewed his wife, I said, "Now, Justin, I thought you were what was the boss. I thought you
Oh
were
my
the
goodness.
baller. But
Oh my
that
goodness.
wife, Erica, that sister is something else, very powerful. You two are a dynamic couple in
Thank you.
leadership globally. I see y'all doing that, really touching and transforming the lives of people. So everybody, visit his YouTube channel. Justin, I love you. Thank you so much for
Thank
interviewing
you.
me.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Okay, everybody make a decision to have a great week. You determine and create your own reality. So whatever you decide your week is going to be like is what it's going to be. I don't know what y'all going to be doing, but I'm going to be celebrating. So have a great week.